Good morning, everybody. Roger, Suzanne here, live with meteorologist Jill Gilardi. We're coming to you and letting you know about some drama, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, very unsettled weather.
Forecast. Potentially three first alert weather days. We're talking about today, Friday, and potentially you got your binoculars on. You're watching for this weekend as well.
Yeah, if we're going to see, a storm system come in, bring us some snow, we're certainly going to issue that first alert weather day, but we don't know yet.
Right.
So that is, up in the air at this point in time. But we definitely know today is the first alert weather day.
Yeah, well, how's it looking right now? I know it was a little bit slippery for a lot of folks this morning and foggy. How's it looking right now, and how will it look in the near future?
Yeah, we had a lot of refreeze, so yeah, that goes a long way. But temperatures are starting to warm up. So today, that brief mix possibility this morning is going to quickly change to some rain, then a mix to snow, ending in some snow, especially inland. That's when our bigger travel impacts are expected. So when you look at this radar, you're like, okay, I see two colors.
Right.
What's going on here? Obviously, the green is the rain. But as we take a look a little bit farther inland, there are some pockets of temperatures at or slightly below freezing. So you might get a brief, and that window is shrinking for any freezing, drizzle, or rain. So primarily, it's going to be flipping over to rain, but you see Windsor Locks 32, Tolland's 32. Okay, that's pretty much it. So we're going to be just extra cautious out there until these numbers get above that freezing mark. Otherwise, it's just a plain old cold rain expected the rest of today. Be careful where you're walking to. As we take a look at First Alert Futurecast, it's going to show you the rain that's going to be building throughout the afternoon hours. The intensity might ramp up as we head later into the afternoon, into the evening hours. And then that zone to the north, so like Massachusetts is getting some sleet and some snow during the daylight hours. Well, that zone is going to start to shift southward. So I know we got a game at Gamble Pavilion. And so if you're going to that game, afterwards, you might be driving home in some snow. It might be a little slick. So there's 7 o'clock. That flip to some snow inland, still rain down to the south, pretty much always rain. But that shift southward of snow will get down towards maybe even, northern Middlesex County, places like that through 9 o'clock. And then it's over and done with before midnight. So here's our snow forecast. It's not a lot, but there could be a few trouble spots setting up. The closer you are to the state line and across the hills, you have that better chance of 1 to 2 inches. So that's today's first alert weather day.
And potential for some refreezing as well, as you mentioned as well, for the evening commute?
Yes, I mean, there will be some slick spots as those temperatures drop. They have to get below freezing, though. Otherwise, it's just wet. Wet travel conditions, which we're not even used to that. We haven't had any wet weather for a while. Any precipitation can be, tricky to drive in, especially if you're going at a high rate of speed. So
we got that first alert weather day for today, but we're already with our eyes on Friday. I say that I say the meteorologists have their eyes on it as well. So what are we talking about for Friday? How's it looking right now?
All right, so let me just reiterate a couple of things. So today is weather, major impacts in terms of travel during the day is going to be to our north. I do want to mention there actually has been an air quality alert issued today for New Haven into Fairfield County. So this is some new information that just came out. And so the air is a little bit unhealthy for sensitive groups. So if you have any heart or lung issues, asthma, things like that, you want to limit your time outside. Though I think this rain's going to keep a lot of people indoors anyways. But there you go. Look at that air quality. It's been, something we've been tracking for several days, just kind of stuck right at the surface. Some, minor pollutants, but it can be irritating. And we've been monitoring those conditions. It's 33 in New Haven, so the threat for anything being slick is very low now. And so, but we got fogginess out there. It's a little dreary out there. So that's kind of the other story right now. All right, let's get to Friday. Now, unlike today, where we're starting primarily with rain and then maybe ending as snow, Friday actually begins with a primary dominant precipitation type of snow. And then flipping to a wintry mix, then also some rain. So kind of the flip of what we're expecting. Here's First Alert Futurecast, so we can kind of see how things play out. So that's 6 o'clock in the morning Friday. You'll notice the blue, that'd be snow. Let's kind of step you through a couple more hours. Well, we already start to see a flip to some wintry mix in the pink, southwest to rain, but still snow inland at 9 o'clock. And then as we get towards noon, notice that freezing line starts to shift. We're mixing central. We're still all snow far north, but we're all rain down at the shoreline.
Now, would you consider that a fast-moving system or not really, Jill? How is that compared to normal?
It's progressive. It's not necessarily, fast or slow, but just kind of progressing along. So we have this little wave coming in on Friday early on. There may be a second wave of precipitation coming through. So let's continue to carry on with this first alert futurecast. So that's noon.
Right.
And then there was a little brief lull, but then we could see another secondary batch. Now, if we continue to see a wintry mix inland, and maybe it doesn't flip over much to rain, there could be some icing issues.
Right.
So the Friday system looks a little bit more significant in terms of the wintry weather threat, especially inland. And it might end as all snow. May not be a lot of snow, but our travel impacts, I think, will be a little greater. We talked about the ice threat, freezing rain. That will be that glaze of ice that forms on top of everything. That morning, early afternoon round doesn't look as substantial, but notice the hills, it could stack up a little bit. So we need to watch for that. Again, this is just a model giving you an idea. We haven't fine-tuned this actual forecast itself, but we have to watch what's going on in all layers of the atmosphere. This is the fun part of forecasting. It's not that straightforward snow.
Right.
On the far right. We have cold air from the cloud all the way down to the ground. We're going to have a scenario probably where you get a little warm air aloft, you get some sleet pellets, the one that bounce, and you could have some freezing rain mixing in as well. And in terms of the snow forecast, just to give you a rough idea of how it's looking right now, the first initial round, you might get a couple inches inland and then maybe a little bit more on top of that. So we haven't put out a snowfall forecast yet or ice, forecast, but I just wanted to show you what some of the models are showing.
And it seems like both rounds could be not ideal in terms of your traveling because
you have
Friday
the
morning and then Friday in the
evening.
afternoon.
Yes, if that second round comes through too, yeah, definitely could have both commutes impacted. So something to keep in the back of your mind. And if you have, plans, you have to go somewhere on Friday, just allow yourself extra travel time, and they'll treat the roadways, but you got to be careful.
It reminds me of that old cliche where they say, oh, if you don't like the forecast in New England, just wait 5 minutes, it's going to change. Well, we're getting a little bit of everything potentially with today and on Friday.
Yeah, a mixed bag for sure. Tomorrow we get a break, though. So we have a nice break in between the two systems, and then we're all watching to see what the data is going to do for the latter part of the weekend into Monday. We've been talking about a potential coastal storm impacting us. Now, we know there's going to be one that develops.
Right.
We don't know the track, and that's critical. If you don't know the track, you don't know if you're going to get brushed by it, slammed by it.
Right, and I remember the last coastal storm that we were talking about, we dodged it, or it dodged us, is a better way to say it.
It was a miss.
And this is still one of those that is tricky right now to know, is it going to hit us, is it going to brush us, or is it going to go off to sea?
Yes, we need at least another day to kind of have a better idea, because the models are sampling, what is moving across the United States right now. For example, that system hasn't even reached western portions of the United States. But that happens tomorrow. A piece of this, the main piece of it, will enter the U.S. tomorrow. So hopefully, we really have a better idea. But the models are doing flip-floppy games, so they have been trending a little bit farther south. And so, many of us hoping that it is a miss. Snow lovers, of course, we know it's the opposite. But yeah, this would be a Sunday into Monday time frame, and I think we'll know a lot more coming in tomorrow.
Are some of the more aggressive models predicting a decent amount of snow if it were to come, and would it only be a little bit of the state, or?
Well, the American model, the GFS, has this whole time been very aggressive with a major snowstorm, but it has actually started to retreat a little bit farther south. Now, the European model, the one on the right, has all along been the one that's been the outlier, showing not much of an impact here. What tends to happen, one trends towards the other, and it seems like, at this point in time, a near miss could be what sets up. But again, we still need another day to really have a good grasp on this. Again, nothing has moved over the United States. We don't have a good sample of it, so no one can say for sure at this point in time. So there's the tracks. If we get that benchmark track a little bit farther north, we get a lot of snow. If it shifts a little bit farther south, it could be a near miss, very minimal impact.
I'm laughing because it seems like over the next few days, the whole weather team, you have your work cut out for you because very complicated forecasts today, Friday, and then for whatever happens during the weekend.
Yeah, all these pieces have to come together. I mean, the atmosphere, it's fluid, so you have one system coming in. What happens with the other one coming out of Canada? Do those things come together? And when they do, and if they do, is it at the point where you get explosive development? And does that happen closer to us, or does it happen farther out to sea? Those, all those elements, we're waiting a little longer so we can get a better idea, but it's just still a little too far out.
Very interesting. So we got some drama today, some drama Friday, maybe some on the weekend. Again, Jill says it. A little bit of a break on Thursday. If you've got some stuff that you've got to get done, tomorrow could be your day.
Tomorrow's looking a-okay, and we get the mess dealing with that on Friday. Saturday is looking fine, and then it remains to be seen how much we'll see from a coastal storm. It might just be clouds. It could be just a few snow showers, or it could be, higher amounts of snow.
And it was a pain in the neck this morning. My daughter actually slipped on the driveway.
Oh, no. Is she okay?
She skinned her knee a little bit.
Oh,
but she's all right. But she said that she was upset mostly that she wrecked her outfit.
Gosh, yeah, that's
so that was
the end of the world.
Yeah, of course. And she was like, I didn't even see it. So, and that could be a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, tomorrow morning, especially, once everything ends, precipitation, the lows tomorrow morning will be below freezing. So anything untreated, so make sure, okay?
I know.
Go home,
Stephanie, my wife, already was like, you better get home and salt that driveway. I got some time, I will.
Yeah, salt the driveway after, that precipitation kind of winds down, or before you go to bed, or early in the morning before the kiddos go out at the bus stop. But yeah, it is one of those situations. We get a lot of refreezing because we've seen a lot of melting too, and we're going to see a lot more tomorrow. It's starting to get a little muddy out there as well. And Friday's system looks just a little bit more significant in terms of a greater risk for that wintry precipitation inland. We could be dealing with more of an icy threat, a little bit more snow than what we're going to see out of this system for today's First Alert Weather Day.
All right, Jill, as you can tell, the entire Channel 3 weather team is very busy for kind of an action-packed forecast range over the next few days. Of course, they'll continue to track it, and we'll let you know what's going to happen as we learn a little bit more, and we'll continue to fine-tune that forecast. So thank you so much for joining us here on WFSB Plus or on Facebook, however you may be viewing, and we'll have much more here at Channel 3. We'll see you very, very soon. Have a fantastic Wednesday, everybody.